White-collar crimes may include such offenses as fraud, embezzlement, Medicare fraud, any type of sometimes financial abuse of the elderly, sometimes misappropriation of fiduciary funds, misappropriation of funds. Sometimes it's quite often in scams involving the elderly. Sometimes it's contracting scams. A contractor agrees to do work, takes the money, and then doesn't do any work. So white-collar crimes can involve many things that in Texas, which are usually typically not involving violence or drugs. So white-collar crimes are often prosecuted in state court, sometimes in federal court. You can be charged even if you didn't personally profit from the crime. For instance, we've had clients who were involved in Medicare fraud, assisting their employer in defrauding the government of funds and their medical practice. And so even though they did not profit, they were assisting their employer in defrauding the government, and they could be convicted. The penalties for fraud and embezzlement can be very serious. They almost always start at a felony level, and they can go all the way up to first-degree felony, 5 to 99 or life in the state system, and involve prison sentences of up to 20 years or more in federal court. In federal court, typically they will thoroughly investigate a case, maybe for a long period of time, even a year or more, before they arrest any of the individuals involved in the white-collar crime. In state court, generally it goes a little bit faster, but it can also involve a lengthy investigation before it gets to the point of the person being arrested. But typically at the point that the person is arrested, the government has developed what they believe to be a very strong case with extensive amount of evidence. So white-collar crime cases can involve a great deal of work with voluminous evidence. So once a person has been arrested for a white-collar crime case, typically they're going to need expert representation. There's going to be a great deal of investigation that has to be done on their behalf because of the amount of evidence that has usually been accumulated by the government. It's not going to be necessarily a fast process. Typically, the person will be allowed to be on bond while the case progresses, but it's going to involve a great deal of time investigating the case, preparing the case for possible trial, and then defending the case through trial, which can also be a very lengthy trial, especially in federal court, but also in state court. If you've been charged with a white-collar crime in Texas, you're going to need expert representation by a firm who has the experience with white-collar crime and also the experience of winning white-collar crime cases, so be sure to call the Medlin Law Firm.